Hi guys, I'm Adrienne. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today's video is all about motivation. So motivation is something that I talk about a lot. It's something that I share with my friends, my family, my clients. As you may know, I'm a personal trainer and fitness blogger. So I lead group workouts, I lead running events, I train women one-to-one. And motivating them is something that I really enjoy, something that I thrive on, something I think that I'm good at. And so I thought I'd film this video today to just share my ideas with you guys. So I'm going to talk about two things, which are things that I get questions about quite often. One is to do with motivation when it comes to fitness and becoming more motivated, self-motivation, and how to stay motivated and kind of stay on track. And the second one is to do with career change, or being self-employed, or being an entrepreneur, or starting a blog, or becoming an Adidas ambassador. I get lots of questions about these kind of things and how you can become, I guess, motivated to start something for yourself, or to maybe change career or something like that. So I guess the same kind of things apply to both. When it comes to motivation, I think there's kind of strategic steps that you can do to become more motivated and just to stay motivated. So let's get started. So first up, as I said, lots of people ask me questions about, how did you become a blogger? How did you become an Adidas ambassador? How did you, grow a social media channel or whatever? And so I'm always happy to talk about that. I'm always so happy to tell people, I always encourage other people as well. If you have a passion for something, then, use the internet, use social media, use a blog or a YouTube channel, for example. And I always encourage people to do that. However, I'd say the first thing you need to think about before how did you do it or how am I going to do it is actually why. So the why has to come before the how. Why do you want to do it? What is it that you have to say? What is it that you have to share? And then once you figure out why you want to do it, then I think it's much easier to come on to the how and to make, a strategy for yourself and go on to maybe make a career or maybe just a, really great side hustle. So, for example, I'm going to use the example of blogging. Perhaps if you are into baking and you make amazing cakes, maybe you bake cakes for birthdays, weddings, you have Pinterest boards of cakes, you have these great designs and everyone's telling you should go on the bake-off because you're really good at your cakes. So you already have something that you're passionate about, you have a skill, you have something to offer, and you are already doing it anyway. So therefore it makes sense to kind of, think how can you share this and maybe use YouTube videos or use a blog to share those recipes, to share those ideas, maybe to build a wider audience for people to see what you're doing. But then maybe you want it to become a career. Maybe you hate your job and you actually really wish that you could bake and do these cakes and stuff instead. So maybe you want that passion to actually become, a full-time job, which is awesome. But you figured out why first and then kind of go on to the how. And so for me, it was more about when I started my blog. I didn't start my blog with the intention of it becoming my full-time job. I was actually a stay-at-home mum, and Jude was really little, and I was meeting new mums. I'd just become a personal trainer and I was meeting new mums, and lots of them, were talking to me about how to get back into shape, how they could, get a bit more confident, because some of the mums I was meeting, they didn't even want to go to like baby swimming clubs and stuff because they thought of getting like in a public swimming bath in a swimming costume was just terrifying. And so I started my blog mostly for them and to just to share my ideas for living a more active life and to help women and new mums to become more active. 2 years later, it's obviously, or maybe 3 years later, 2.5 years, it's grown into something completely different. It's kind of evolved into what it is now, and I'm so grateful for that because I absolutely love it. I could talk about blogging and social all day long, but this video is not about that. It's about motivation. But I guess I already had the motivation. I already had the why, and then later on came the how. So I guess you can use that with other things in your life, whether it's fitness, losing weight, whatever it is. Think about the reason and the why before you think about the how. So another good example is that I had a personal training client And he, it was a guy, and his wife actually signed him up to come and train with me. So she had got him these 10 sessions with me as a gift because she wanted him to lose weight. She wanted him to get in shape. And I'm sure the intention was, you know, it came from a place of love. She wanted him to, I guess, kind of feel more confident and just get some more energy. And I think she felt like, you know, you're going to just do these sessions with Adrienne, you're going to become more confident and you're going to have more energy and lose weight. It's going to be great. But I guess initially that intention was from her and not from him. So it was an external point of motivation for him. It wasn't self-motivated. So I felt that when he came to his sessions, I felt that when we met, I felt that the motivation, yeah, it wasn't self-motivated at all. It was either from her, or I guess in the sessions it was from me. But yeah, I think if you are going to take on a new fitness challenge, or you're going to, you know, sign up to a race or whatever, then yeah, definitely think about why you want to do it, find a good reason to do it, what's inspired you, what's motivated you, and then just, yeah, stick with that before you think about how you're going to do it. So I recently ran the marathon. That's why the race thing is sticking in my mind. And I had lots of reasons to run that race. And it's actually the reasons that kept me motivated, that kept me disciplined, that got me up and out and running, because I'm not a distance runner, and previously to running the marathon I had never done an endurance event before, so it was definitely a big challenge. And knowing that I'm a social person, I think initially I thought, okay, I'm gonna go into London and train with these run groups and run clubs that I know, because that's gonna help keep me on track. But actually the reality of my training meant that I couldn't, and life and, you know, having a child and job, I couldn't get into London and I couldn't go to all those groups. So I had to be self-motivated. I had to set my alarm and I had to go running some mornings before the boys were even up, before my husband went to work. I had to run at weekends. I had to run when it was cold, in the rain, you know, you get the drill with marathon training. You have to do it. You have to be self-motivated. And I think if your motivation at the beginning is from somebody else, then they're not going to be there, you know, when you have to run in the rain. They're not going to be there when you are tired. You are the person who is going to ultimately be doing the work. So yeah, make sure that the reason is from yourself. It's a reason that you want, that you know what that reason is. Then you can figure out how. Okay, so moving on, you've got your why, you've figured out why you want to do this new challenge, new job, new career, whatever, and then you're going to figure out how you're going to do it. So I would say break it down into steps, and also seek advice, like ask people's help. Don't be afraid to reach out to people, whether it's somebody else you know in that industry or somebody else you know who's, for example, a runner or whatever. But yeah, get people's advice when you start to make your initial plan. And then once you make your plan, you know, it doesn't have to be set in stone. It doesn't have to be, this is it, you can't change it, it has to be that way. You know, make a plan to get you started, but that can change along the way. And then I'd say, when you are, once you've started, say for example 4 weeks later, 8 weeks later, go back and actually write stuff down, whether it's whether you choose to make this plan, whether it's online using like spreadsheets and stuff, whether it's in a journal or a notebook, which is what I prefer, pen and paper always. Then yeah, so stick with that, go back and think, okay, so what have I done in the first 4 weeks or the first 8 weeks, and actually go through, and don't be too hard on yourself either. If your end goal that you're trying to get more motivated to achieve is really, really big, break it down and actually go back and think, okay, so in the first 4 weeks I've already done this, this and this. Okay, fab. Okay, then I did this, and actually look at the small victories and really kind of congratulate yourself on those, you know, celebrate those. If you're always looking to the next thing, you're always looking like you want to get more of this, more engagement, more followers, more miles, whatever it is, you're always looking for more, and you're kind of just, you know, neglecting what you've already achieved. So yeah, I definitely think a good way to stay motivated once you start a new project or a new challenge is to look back and really kind of, yeah, just give yourself a pat on the back. Look at what you've done so far, and that is really going to help you when you feel overwhelmed sometimes, maybe to kind of think, oh, I've still got so much to do. Actually looking back and seeing how much you've already achieved. And on that note as well, I also think thinking about, you know, the time. Sometimes I think now, because everything's quick, you know, we have, whether it's because of the internet, social media, whatever the reason, this is the generation we live in, everything is quick. So if you don't see immediate instant gratification or immediate results, don't give up and think, well, that didn't work. That is not, 5 minutes or 5 weeks isn't necessarily a true test to say that didn't work. It's definitely kind of something that I hear from people. And I don't want to say it's an excuse, because I think maybe that's a little bit harsh, but it could be it could be used as an excuse that I tried that, it didn't work. Oh, but I've tried that, it didn't work. Oh, but I've tried that, it didn't work. How long did you try that for? Really, how long did you try that before you gave up and said, oh, it didn't work? Because it wasn't instantly, I guess, recognised or acknowledged by other people doesn't necessarily mean that it didn't work. If that is the case as well, use knowledge. If it is the case that it's been 6 months, you're trying one thing and it's not going anywhere, it's really not working, then instead of just giving up and saying, well, I tried that, it didn't work, actually get someone else's opinion, get someone else's advice, get someone else's kind of fresh eyes on it, and kind of go, okay, look, I've been trying this, I really feel like it's not working, can you help me? Can you give me some advice? And maybe that is what you need to just give you a bit more of a push and to just stay motivated to keep going, and not to just kind of give up on it and think, hey, tried that, didn't work. So even if it takes longer than you originally put out in your plan, maybe you planned to be, maybe you thought it was going to take 10 weeks, maybe it takes longer, that's okay. Be flexible, roll with it, but don't just kind of scrap it altogether and start afresh. Or for example, if you're training for an event and maybe you get sick, so you got a really bad cold and you had to miss a week's training, doesn't mean you're not going to do the event. It doesn't mean you can't do it. It just means that maybe you have to go back a week or whatever, and that's fine. Be flexible. I think one thing that helped me when I was training for the marathon was definitely having the breakdown weekly, but also having the end goal and just knowing that I did not want to get to the start line of the marathon and feel like I haven't trained enough, I am unprepared. So I think having, don't get me wrong, I trained hard for 3 months and that marathon was so tough. If you've seen the YouTube video, then you'll know. If you haven't, then, search below, you'll find it. But yeah, that was so tough. And I can't even imagine how tough it would have been had I not stuck to the plan. So yeah, I think having a plan is really helpful in whatever it is that your end goal is, work, career, fitness, whatever. Make a plan. Lastly, I think what I want to say about being motivated is that sometimes I think people see something that they maybe want to do or something that they think they would enjoy, and they kind of maybe don't expect it to be as much hard work as it is. So let's be honest, I guess some people kind of might be guilty of looking at the blogging or the YouTubing or whatever and thinking, okay, like that seems like an easy gig, like I could do that, I could take a few pictures, I could film a few videos, like it's easy. However, one thing I would say is that the most successful people I know, whether it's in social media, whether it's in leading in their industry, in sports or whatever it is, whether they're a computer coder, whatever it is, nobody gets to that level of being super successful or leading in their industry or whatever through luck or through sheer kind of just rolled out of bed. That does not happen. I feel like every single person I know, every example that I've read about, listened to on podcasts, people that I know that inspire me, they are working so hard. They are hustlers. They are people who are getting up early, their alarm is set early, they are working maybe 6, maybe 7 days. They are working so hard. And so I think that is something that you need to think about, your own habits, your own work habits, your own work ethic, and think, okay, yes, I might be feeling motivated right now, but how am I going to put into place habits that are going to keep that momentum going and actually help you to succeed towards achieving your goal? Because the habits that we do every single day, every single week, ultimately that's more important than the initial seed of, oh, I've got this great idea, or oh, I've got this inspiration for something that I want to do or something I want to start. Actually, it's the long game, it's the hard work, it's the commitment that's going to make the difference and that's going to get you there. So once you've you've got your why and you've figured out your plan of how, I think you really have to accept that are you ready to take on the hard work? How hard do you want to work? How much do you want it? So I talked for so long that my camera battery just died, but I've just charged it and I'm back. Thanks for watching, guys. I really hope you liked the video. I hope you found it useful. Please give it a thumbs up, leave me a comment below, and don't forget to subscribe. I'm going to be uploading way more videos like this, so I hope to see you again soon.